வெல்கம் டு ஜூபிட்டர் அகாடமி. இன்னைக்கு நம்ம புதுசா ஒரு சீரிஸ் லான்ச் பண்ண போறோம். அந்த சீரிஸ் பேரு தான் பயோ நாக் அவுட் சீரிஸ். இட் இஸ் a crash course based model. Here we can discuss question and concept at a time. நம்ம ஒரு கான்செப்ட்ல என்னெல்லாம் பாசிபிள் क्वेश्चंस நம்ம எக்ஸ்பெக்ட் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்றது ஒரு குவிக் ரிவிஷன் மோட்ல பார்க்க போறோம். So welcome to பயோ நாக் அவுட் சீரிஸ். இன்னைக்கு நம்ம பார்க்க போற லெசன் ஹியூமன் ஹெல்த் அண்ட் டிசீஸ். ஹியூமன் ஹெல்த் அண்ட் டிசீஸ்ல நம்மளோட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பேஜ்ல இருந்தே क्वेश्चन பண்ண பாசிபிள் இருக்கு. சோ என்ன கான்செப்ட் இருக்கு, அதுல என்ன क्वेश्चन இருக்கு. சோ இயர்லியரா according to Ayurveda there is a concept called the good humor hypothesis. It means a person with the black bile had a fever or a person with the black bile is a hot personality அப்படிங்கற ஒரு myth இருந்தது. It was disproved by the William Harvey by invention of the circulation of the blood. First circulation of blood யார் கண்டுபிடிக்கறானா வில்லியம் ஹார்வே. சோ இங்க என்னடா क्वेश्चन கேட்கலாம் அப்படினா what is good humor hypothesis? Good humor hypothesis is nothing but a person with hot bile have a hot personality or have a higher temperature. And who disproved this? William Harvey. எப்படி disprove பண்றாரு? By discovering the circulation of the blood. இந்த பேஜ்ல இருந்து நமக்கு possible questions அப்படினு பாத்தீங்கன்னா இந்த ஒரு particular concept இருக்குடா. And going to the next page, what is health? So இங்க நமக்கு first lineல இருந்தே question ஆரம்பிக்குது. What is health? Health is nothing but a state of mentally, socially and emotionally well-being. So இது ஒரு basic question தான். இதுல இருந்து question கேட்கிறதுக்கான possibilities இருக்கு. And the next thing is இது கீழ அப்படியே வந்தோம்னா the disease is divided into two types. One is infectious disease and non-infectious disease. So infectious disease அப்படினா the disease which spreads from one person to the another person. Where the non-infectious disease அப்படினு பாத்தீங்கன்னா the disease which is not spread from the one person to the another person. But இதுல இருந்து questions பெருசா வராது, just a concept. And followed by the most important concept, what is called pathogen? A disease causing organisms is commonly called as pathogen. So இதுவும் நமக்கு தேவையான ஒரு important terminology. What do you mean by pathogen? The disease causing organisms are called as pathogen. So அதுக்கு அப்புறம் இங்க நமக்கான hot question race start ஆகுது. இதுக்கு அப்புறம் வர conceptsல இருந்து we can expect more and more questions. So first நம்ம பார்க்க போற concept என்ன அப்படினு பாத்தீங்கன்னா disease. So diseaseல இருந்து எப்படி எல்லாம் question கேட்பாங்க? Diseaseல இருந்து three types of question கேட்பாங்க. என்னெல்லாம் three types of question? First type of question, sometimes disease or symptoms கொடுத்து they can directly ask what disease it is. Sometimes they will ask you about the diagnosis test for the disease if it is mentioned in the book. And they will also ask you the mode of spreading, how the disease spreads. So இத பேஸ் பண்ணி நமக்கு क्वेश्चन கேட்பாங்க. சோ நம்ம புக்ல கொடுத்த ஒவ்வொரு டிசீஸோட கான்செப்ட்டையும் எப்படி எல்லாம் क्वेश्चन கேட்பாங்க அப்படிங்கற ஒரு கட் ஷார்ட் கான்செப்ட் நம்ம இங்க பார்ப்போம். So first disease I'm going to uncover today is typhoid. What do you mean by the term typhoid? Typhoid, important. Causative agent is very important. Causative agent la irundha question கேட்பாங்க. The first disease I'm going to uncover today is the typhoid. So typhoid is caused by the Salmonella typhi அப்படிங்கற ஒரு பாக்டீரியாவால இந்த typhoid காஸ் பண்ணப்படுது. So இந்த typhoid இருந்தா என்ன ஆகும்? Obviously stomach pain, constipation, high fever. உங்க புக்ல with temperature 39 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius மென்ஷன் பண்ணிருப்பாங்க. Might be they can also ask that. So stomach pain, constipation, headache and high fever is a characteristic symptoms of the typhoid. Typhoid is caused by the Salmonella typhi. So stomach attack பண்றதுனாலே அது எது மூலமா ஸ்ப்ரெட் ஆகும்? It is spread by contaminated food and water. Okay, what is the diagnosis test we are using? We are using Vidal test to identify the typhoid. So இந்த ஒரு கான்செப்ட்ல இருந்து நமக்கு 3 questions இருக்கு. Question number 1, what is the causative agent for the typhoid? That is Salmonella typhi. And the question number 2, what are the characteristic symptoms of the typhoid, especially high fever, constipation, stomach pain, as well as how it is spread. How it is spread is the most important question aspect. It is spread by contaminated food and water. And third is what test you use for diagnosis? It is very simple. It is a Vidal test. So the second disease I'm going to uncover today is a pneumonia. Pneumonia is usually a deadly disease. Why? Because the pneumonia is caused by the Staphylococcus or Streptococcus pneumoniae. Where it will affect your respiratory system. It is lower respiratory tract infection because it primarily affects your lungs rather than the upper respiratory tract. So in the pneumonia, you should know it is a lower respiratory tract infection. And It is caused by Staphylococcus or Streptococcus pneumoniae. And what are the characteristic symptoms? So it's have a cold, cough, high fever, sore throat. Apart from that, the definition of the pneumonia is very important, because the pneumonia is not like other common viral infections, or it is not like pneumonia is not like a common respiratory infection. The characteristic feature of pneumonia, the term pneumonia அப்படினால என்ன அப்படின்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, the alveoli is filled with the fluid. Alveoli filled with the term pneumonia அப்படினால நமக்கு immediately we should remember the term, the alveoli filled with fluid. So that is a characteristic sign of the pneumonia. As a result, there is no sufficient oxygen supply, so there will be the turning off, in the severe cases, the turning off your lips, fingers, nails to gray to blue color in the pneumonia. So this is the pneumonia. There is no diagnosis test given for the pneumonia in your book. So in the pneumonia again there is 3 questions from a pneumonia concept. What are the 3 questions from the pneumonia concept? Question number 1, pneumonia is caused by Streptococcus or Staphylococcus pneumoniae. Question number 2, what are the characteristic symptoms or how it spreads? So it affects the lower respiratory tract. It causes sore throat, cough, high fever, and the characteristic sign, the turning off the finger, lips and nails into blue to gray color. It is a characteristic. When you see this in the question, you can directly choose the option pneumonia. So that is the second question. And how it spread? It spreads by the speaking. It is an airborne infection. So 3 questions you can expect from the pneumonia. And the third concept we are going to unwind today is common cold. It's very common. It is caused by the rhinovirus. So first question comes here. So common cold is caused by rhinovirus. But you know, since it is an RNA virus, you do not need any treatment. Obviously, it will go off in 3 to 7 days. So how many days? The incubation. This is called the incubation period. So there is a possibility incubation period. A question like chances irukku. So incubation period of common cold அப்படின்ற question கேட்டாங்கன்னா, it is very simple, 3 to 7 days. What are the symptoms? இந்த symptoms வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா, congestion in the nose, running nose, watery eyes, இதெல்லாமே வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா characteristic symptoms சொல்லலாம். So common cold பொறுத்தவரைக்கும் primarily 2 question தான் கேட்க chances இருக்கு. ஒன்னு, it is caused by rhinovirus and its incubation time is 3 to 7 days. The fourth concept I'm going to unwind is a malaria. Malaria is a big concept. இங்க இருந்து we can expect minimum 4 to 5 types of the question. ஏன் அப்படின்னா malaria is also included with the life cycle of the malaria. So இங்க நம்ம பார்க்க போறது என்னன்னா, malaria is first caused by which agent? It is caused by plasmodium. There are 4 types of the plasmodiums are there. Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malariae, Plasmodium vivax and the Plasmodium falciparum. In India, Plasmodium vivax is the common one, but which is the deadliest form of the malaria? This is the most expected question from this concept. The most deadliest form of the malaria is Plasmodium falciparum. So it is also called as black death. So from this 2 line we can expect at least 2 questions. So what are all the causative agent for malaria? A simple question. What is that? Plasmodium. What are the types of the plasmodium? Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malariae, Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malariae and Plasmodium falciparum. So and the second type of the question, which is the deadliest malaria, and what it is known? The deadliest malarial species is the Plasmodium falciparum, and it is also known as the black death, similar to the plague. And the third important thing is the life cycle of the malaria. So the life cycle, how this Plasmodium will grow? This Plasmodium will request 2 hosts. One is female Anopheles mosquito, another one is a human. So what are the 2 possible hosts? What are the 2 possible hosts in the life cycle of the Plasmodium? One is female Anopheles mosquito and another one is it is a human. So these are all the 2 possible. This is one question. And the most important question is where the sexual reproduction of the malaria will take place, where the asexual reproduction of malaria will take place. So from this host concept they will ask you this. So there is 2 hosts. One is female Anopheles mosquito and the next one is a human. So the sexual reproduction takes place in the female Anopheles mosquito. Asexual reproduction takes place in humans. So can we see how the malaria will attack the humans, what it seems, and that we are going to cover the life cycle of the malaria. So just imagine a female Anopheles mosquitoes with full of sporocytes. Sporocytes are the infectious form of the malaria. So here you have one question. What is the infectious form of malaria is known as sporocytes. So when the mosquito bites me, it will inject the infectious form of the malaria called sporocytes. The sporocytes travels to the liver first. Where the sporocytes will travel first? So here they may ask you the sequence based questions. Once the sporocytes injected in your body, first it will travel to the liver, and in the liver it will multiply, it will form the schizon, and it will burst and release the numerous sporocytes. So these sporocytes, when it comes out, it starts feeding on the RBC, red blood cells. This is called the erythrocytic phase of the malarial parasite. So now the sporocyte starts feeding on your RBC. As a result, the RBC will rupture. So it will release one chemical called hemozoin, which is primarily responsible for fever, chills, intermittent fever of the malaria. So which is responsible for symptoms of malaria? Which is responsible for high fever, chills in malaria? This is one important question in the NEET. The answer is hemozoin. How the hemozoin is released? Hemozoin is released as a result of rupture of RBC. Our own RBC release the hemozoin since it is ruptured by malarial sporocytes. So this is very important. Once it starts feeding on the sporocytes, it grows into the next stage called trophocyte. The diagnosis of the malaria. I told you, right, there is 4 types of the malaria. One is Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium vivax, and Plasmodium ovale, and Plasmodium malariae. So I can identify the type of the malaria only in the trophocyte stage. I can identify the type of the malaria only in the trophocyte stage. That is very important. So this will ask where the diagnosis of malaria can take place. It takes place in trophocyte stage. And here what happened after trophocyte stage? This malarial parasite starts producing the gametophytes. So there will be a male gametes and female gametes. In the stage when the another mosquito bites me, means another female Anopheles mosquito bites me, these gametes enters into the female Anopheles gut, and here it does the sexual reproduction. It forms the ookinete and it forms the new sporocytes. When this female Anopheles mosquito bites another person, this life cycle continues. This is the life cycle of the malaria. Here you can have a 4 to 5 types of question. Question number 1, what are the 2 hosts of the malaria? Female Anopheles mosquito and man. Sexual reproduction in female Anopheles and asexual in the man. And where it will attack first? It will first attack the liver, followed it causes the rupture of schizon, and it attacks the RBC, and as a result of rupture of RBC, it releases hemozoin, which is primarily responsible for chills and fever. Is the third base question. Hemozoin is primarily responsible for chills and fever in the malaria. In which stage you can diagnose the type of plasmodium? It is trophocyte stage. So these 4 types of questions you can expect from the life cycle of the plasmodium. So and here you have all the different plasmodium have a different incubation period. So this is all about the malaria. So how it can be prevented? It can be prevented by how to prevent the malaria. It is a very simple concept. So by preventing or by killing the mosquitoes. So female Anopheles mosquito. So how do we can do? So we can use mosquito repellents, mosquito nets, and the most important thing is the introduction of gambusia. Gambusia, underline the nerve, gambusia fish in the water tanks to eat the larvae of the female Anopheles mosquito. Here in the prevention, this gambusia is your important question key. And this is all about the malaria. So in malaria, you can totally expect 6 types of question here. And the next disease, the next plasmodial disease I want to uncover is the amoebiosis. Amoebiosis is caused by Entomoeba histolica. It primarily affects the large intestine. So here you can find the questions. Amoebiosis is caused by Entomoeba histolica. It primarily affects the large intestine. It causes the characteristic symptoms or stools, blood in the stool. The characteristic symptoms or blood in the stools, followed by fever, stomach pain, and constipation will take place. These are all the characteristics of amoebiosis. So this amoebiosis, the endomyositis have two forms. Cyst form outside the body, it is cyst form. Inside the body, it is in active form. This is one question from the amoebiosis, and followed by the ascariasis. Ascariasis is nothing but the worm disease. It belongs to the helminthus, and there is not that much question. The ascariasis is a helminthus disease. That is the only thing we need to know. And the most important thing I'm going to uncover is elephantiasis. It is also the worm disease. It is caused by two types of the worms, Wucheria bancrofti and Wucheria malai. These two types of the worms cause elephantiasis. What is elephantiasis? Elephantiasis means is a keyword, the blocking of the lymphatic vessels. Elephantiasis means blocking of lymphatic vessels. So this is the most commonly asked. What is elephantiasis? The Wucheria bancrofti and Wucheria malai will block the lymphatic vessels. This is the major pathology of the elephantiasis. As a result, there is a rapid swelling of our lower limbs. It is the symptom. It is spread by female mosquito vectors. Only these three concepts they are going to ask here. So elephantiasis or filariasis is caused by Wucheria bancrofti and Wucheria malai. How it will cause? By blocking the lymphatic vessel, lower lymph vessels. What is the symptom? Swelling of the lower limbs as a result of blockage of lymphatic vessels. How it will spread? And it is very important, female mosquito vectors. And the final topic I'm going to uncover is the ringworm. It is a fungal infection. It is the most common type of the infection we can see anywhere. So all other things about all other question based concept coverage in disease I completed today. We'll catch you on the next topic, immunity. Follow Jupiter Academy. Share பண்ணுங்க, subscribe பண்ணுங்க, like பண்ணுங்க.